I just want to say how happy I am, how proud I am of mankind at this very moment. Um, it's been a tale of two situations this year, 2020. I call the Roaring Twenties. I thought the 20s would be ruined by the deep state, but the people, not just in America, but even in Europe, in Germany, in the Middle East, where, even in India, where they beat people nowadays if they try to come out of their houses now. They're standing up to the government! Tyranny! This coronavirus tyranny, people are standing up. And I don't believe in crying or anything. It makes me so happy and joyful that the people are not going to take this BS anymore. You see it in Texas, Michigan, California, Germany. I've even seen protests in the Middle East, Australia, saying enough is enough. Let's go through, before I get any further, let's go through the facts of coronavirus. This is a virus which has killed less than 1% of people who have gotten it. Less than 1%. They said that countries that don't have lockdown measures will see deaths in the millions. Sweden is not under lockdown. Japan, I just learned, is not under lockdown either. Now, people were trying to attack me saying, well, you can't compare Sweden to America or New York City. Some dumb fool said that. Some dumb idiot said, you can't, Sweden and America, the population is, well, Japanese could swamp New York City. Tokyo would rape New York City in population. They're not under any lockdown. They have certain guidelines and stuff, but they're not under any lockdown. And not only are they not seeing deaths in the millions because of coronavirus, in Sweden at least, and I think even in Japan as well, coronavirus deaths are lower than in many other countries. I contribute it to, number one, we're not being told the whole truth about this coronavirus. I think the media and the deep state government people are trying to scare us into submission. But I also think, because Japan has very strict immigration, not immigration, but like travel thing. It's very strict, and I'm not advocating. But they do. So when these things happen, they close down immediately their borders. They're not going to punish their people for the crimes of foreign nations. And I blame China 100% for coronavirus. And I blame all the other globalist leaders for bringing it to our country. Justin, the tacky-headed tar-faced Matt Daddy Trudeau. I said, close the border to China only. This is where it's coming from. Oh, the political, that's racist. That's racist. That's racist. And look at us now. Now we're being punished. We're being punished. Because I said, don't be politically correct with this. You're going to suffer. And now look at us. I ain't quarantining for nothing. I know some of these mealy mouse people here keep going on after me, but stay at home. F you. And by the way, all of you people protesting, I've seen counter protests where you got these nurses and stuff trying to block these protests. Let me tell you. And I don't care if this video gets demonetized. I don't do this for the money. I do this to promote freedom, patriotism, and rebellion when it needs to happen. And nationalism. I don't do this for YouTube's blood money. That's just extra. I don't do it for YouTube's blood money. I am saying, if anybody gets in between you and your right to protest, beat the shit out of them. Beat the shit out of them. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's some busybody lady by the name of Karen coming out, you guys need, I'm gonna rat on you, looking at her curtains, oh, someone's not quarantined. You're not quarantined, let me call 911. Get her! Do not let these people come between you and your rights. You have every right to protest the government. This thing has killed less than 1% of the people that has gotten it. Even people with pre-existing conditions most of them end up surviving. In fact, a lot of old people even end up surviving. 101-year-old men and women, you hear it every day, they survive coronavirus. Sweden, Japan, don't have any lockdowns. They're not seeing a drastic decline in their population. In fact, their population is even healthier. And then you got Justin, the tacky-headed, tar-faced, swift-foot Mac Daddy Trudeau, the Prime Minister of my country, Canada. He's telling us we need to social distance ourselves from other people, lock up in our houses, and don't gather. And he's doing the opposite. He goes to Easter vacation to his cottage, takes pictures with all his family, no social distancing. He's not quarantining, and he's not. He's disobeying the gathering orders. When is he going to be arrested? Lock him up. But anyway, let's get on with what I'm going to say now. I said that in July we would start holding protests. I moved it back to June. The middle of June. That's the latest. I don't want to do this thing too soon. I want to give the globalists more rope to hang themselves. I want to see how much longer they're going to keep pushing this. Thinking that we Canucks are just going to, like we always do, just sit back and take it. The abuse. I'm not going to take it, and I know a lot of you guys won't either. I'm going to start holding protests. Middle of June, probably June 15th. I will go to a place somewhere in public, gather as many people as possible. We're going to have a great time like we are entitled to do. We'll have food, potluck. People want to bring food, they can bring food. I'm going to have it. And by the way, Facebook, I forgot to mention, Facebook is now banning and shutting down and taking away anyone's account who criticizes the government's measures on tackling coronavirus. And they're also banning people whom suggest protesting the lockdown measures. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, that swine, that dog, he's going to go to hell. These government people, they are keeping us locked down because they're getting all the 5G ready. They're getting the vaccine ready. They're trying to scare us into accepting a new vaccine which will destroy our immune system and probably do other things as well. But at the very least, we know that these immune systems weaken our natural virus-fighting abilities and make us dependent and make us dependent on these vaccines, so that Big Pharma gets even more money. So they're getting us scared enough to willingly go to the vaccine slaughterhouse like sheep. But in the meantime, they got to keep us locked down so that they're busy preparing everything. And then you won't be able to go anywhere. You won't be able to work. You won't be able to go to school if you're not vaccinated. If you talk anything bad about the vaccine, they'll take your kids away. All this sort of stuff. I am predicting this. And many of these people have already said this is what's going to happen. Mark Zuckerberg says this. Anthony Fauci, who I think should be fired, the Trump's medical guy, even said many of these vaccines will actually kill your immune system. He said it in the White House at one of his press conferences with Trump standing right there. How much more proof do you people need? And by the way, if you're thinking of listening to these fact-check websites and these fact-checking groups saying that everything Arana Nation is telling you is a lie, just let me tell you that a lot of the fact-checking, many of the most powerful fact-checking groups related to this coronavirus, guess where they're headquartered? Guess where they're headquartered? I'll tell you. They're headquartered in Wuhan, China. You can look it up for yourself. And I just got some breaking news. I'm going to share it with you now. Breaking news, which says that the United States government has confirmed that China is upping its espionage tactics on U.S. soil with a focus on manipulating the coronavirus narrative, officials and experts contend. So China has literally invaded, I would say invaded, Cold War style, tactically invaded the United States of America and the West in an attempt to shift suspicion away from them and make things even harder for us freedom-loving individuals. And of course, we now know that the World Health Organization was lock, stock, and barrel lapping up everything the Chinese were telling them about coronavirus and the methods that they took. Now China's reopened, open for business. We're all shut down, slaves. It's like China is more free than we are right now. Not the people, but their businesses. But I mean, can you imagine that? And now China's going up and up and up. We're going down. By the time this is over, the damage will have been so great that China will probably will overtake the West. It'll be too late. You can have all the tax cuts. This stuff makes me pissed off. And what makes it even worse is that we've got Canadian government officials who are still parroting Chinese government communist narratives and telling people, even though it's confirmed by many, even globalist organizations, that China was providing false information to the World Health Organization, Canadian officials are still saying it's a hoax. So we are going to protest. I don't give a damn what the Karens and the Harolds and the liberal hippies who listen to the mainstream media have to say about me and how I'm flouting the law. Yeah, I am flouting the law. The law was meant to be challenged. If we didn't flout the law, we'd probably still have slavery right now. Some of you probably would like that, actually. We'd probably have apartheid in South Africa. Some of you would probably like that, too. We'd probably have the Soviet Union still threatening us. We'd probably still have Nazi Germany if we didn't challenge the law. The law was meant to be challenged. Who the hell tells me that I can't protest? I've got the facts on my side. Less than 1% of the people who catch coronavirus die from it. Sweden, Japan, no lockdowns whatsoever. Their population is just fine. It's not falling any bit. And on top of that, World Health Organization and many of the governments around the world were getting false information from China. What more do you need before you realize that what we are being told about coronavirus is nothing but an attempt to scare us into goddamn submission? And sorry, God, for saying goddamn. I apologize. It slipped out. You know what? It doesn't irritate me, the fact that the government is doing this and the deep state is doing this. I expect that. What angers me is the fact that we've got so many people in this country who still are sheepishly and slavishly following what the media and the government are telling them, and who go after people like me who try to challenge it and give them the facts. I'm trying to fight for your freedom, God dang it! And you're attacking me. It's like Canadians, I swear to God, Canadians can sometimes be the most difficult people to deal with. And I love my country, but God damn it! I get so frustrated with some of you. And it's not just on the left, even on the establishment right, too. It's like I almost want to, sometimes, I know you guys are going to make me say that I'm sounding like Greta Thunberg, but it sometimes makes me want to just take you and just shake you out of your submissive state and say, God damn it, I'm here for your freedom, man. Come on. Like do an exorcism on you. Let the slave come out of you. Let the slave come out of you. Let the devil come out of you. But we're going to protest. Don't worry. We're going to go to places and gather as many people as possible. Encourage the police to try and break us up. We won't break up. They'll try to arrest us, attack us, assault us like they did in Germany. We'll fight back. We will fight back and we'll go out at it again. We are not quarantining anymore. We want to go back to work. We want to reopen Canada, end this lockdown. You can keep the border with China closed if you want. I think we should forget all about China. But this is the straw that's broken the camel's back. Keep signing that petition to open up Canada again. End this lockdown. Give us back our freedoms now. And prepare for the day, June 15th, I believe, when we take the protest, bring the protest spirit to Canada. And if anybody gets in our way, we are going to fight back. We are going to fight back. If you try to stop us by blocking our path on the roads, we will run you over. If you try to nag us, we will beat the shit out of you. And if you rat us out, we will find you and we will punish you. This is the Arana Nation.